Thank you for that. Okay, I'll start over. So almost nothing has to be done from scratch. Usually I've done stuff and you can take it and just modify it how you need it. Saves a lot of time. So you have an email sequence that is 5 emails, did you say, Stefan?
Yeah,
and it's an abandoned cart. So what I would do is I would come down to my 7 email sequence here. So this one right here, do you see that? Am I not?
I'm not seeing your screen.
All right. Well, that's probably help if I hit share screen. All right. So you can see I've loaded a bunch of stuff in the account already.
Cool.
This if you have a 6 email sequence, then you can just take this 7 email sequence and delete one, right?
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit check the box and hit no, actually you go into the sequence and hit duplicate. So you click on this thing on the sequence, hit actions, and then make a copy. So cool. I'm going to make a copy of this and call this abandoned cart. Abandoned cart. Save. And now we are in a new campaign that's a copy of the previous campaign.
Cool.
So basically things can be triggered several different ways. On an abandoned cart, that's kind of a unique situation because there's a couple of different things that could happen on an abandoned cart. So I usually on an abandoned cart will do it based on a tag trigger. So if you have a two-step cart, which is normally what I recommend is a 2-step instead of a 1-step. On step 1, you're gathering their data, and on step 2, you collect the payment. Now, if they bail on the payment, we have their data. And when we bring them into Infusionsoft, we want to tag them with a tag that just says, you know, checkout initiated or something like that. So I'm just going to put checkout initiated.
So then question for you on that. So now we have, as of this moment, we have the ClickFunnels, you know, checkout process initiated, which is basically what you described, the two-part sequence. Is the tags already set up in that situation as well for us, or do we need to go in and?
No, it's a Zapier thing to capture that step 1 is a Zapier zap.
It is a zap, so we have to set up Zapier. Okay.
Yep. It does, the information goes into ClickFunnels, so it sits there, but it needs to come over. And the only way on step 1, it needs to come over with a zap. Once step 2 happens, then that integration's already there. That doesn't need a zap, it's already integrated.
Gotcha. And during the zap, you add the tags?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I just created the tag behavior checkout initiated. So the trigger to this tag is checkout initiated. Now, the other thing that's cool too is maybe they hit the order form, but they're already on the list. In that case, we can use this web page automation one and trigger it that way as well. So we can have more than one trigger. And web page automation is basically saying, did they hit the page? Now, where this is super valuable is if they're on the list already and they just hit the order form, but they don't do step 1 or step 2, this is going to capture them for an abandoned cart. So what we do here,
which is why it's important that we upload our database into Infusionsoft.
Correct. So, and then send the emails from Infusionsoft too. So on this situation, do you see this little code snippet here?
Yep.
All you have to do is put this code snippet on your order form and then hit add URL and just put, you know, HTTP, you know, order form URL. And this thing will work now. So now we have a couple of triggers. You see one is like that step 1 trigger on the order form, but the other one is just a page view. And they're already on the list and boom, we know. So we put them in.
Would you recommend doing that, even just the page view on the limited time offer page as well? Like not the actual checkout?
Correct. Yeah. So this page, the cool thing about web page automation is you could do it on any page, really. If you have a page that they hit and it's valuable information, or you want to do something because they hit that page, you can do that anywhere in the process. You could even do, I want to know if somebody hits this blog post, you know, they hit the blog post, you could say, okay, they just hit this blog post. Let's tag them with saw that blog post. So that gives you a way to segment in a lot of different ways just on page views. So your only limitation on that is your own creativity on how
So
you
then,
wanna use the information.
so I'm asking a million questions, but I
It's
think
okay.
it's good. So then, so this is awesome, love this. So then, on the tagging part of things, do you actually add the tags here, or do you do it somewhere else? Like, so for
Here,
instance, like here, so they go
here.
to X, Y, and Z blog post. We want to add a tag that basically has the blog post name or
Yeah.
something.
So like XYZ, let's say this web page automation is they just hit XYZ blog post. All I do is I drag a sequence over here. I hit this and I go apply tag right here. I pull this over
Mhm.
and apply, and then I can create my tag on the fly just like that. Hit create and it's done.
Gotcha. So
So
you could
it's super
technically have like a sequence, like area built out that's purely just for adding tags,
totally.
right?
You could have just like a
Like,
page view sequence. That's actually a great idea, by the way. I've
and it's just
never
like a
thought of
bunch of
that.
different, I'm adding all my tags essentially in this like basically sequence, and
So I'm
that's all I
adding
use
that.
it for.
You just added to my inventory of great ideas. Thank you very much, because that's really smart actually. Just having an inventory of page view tagging, you could basically map out your entire site and have
Mhm.
tags applied based on what pages they've hit. It's really
Cool.
smart. I never even thought to do that. So thank you for that.
I've never had that happen to me on a call with you, so it's usually the other way around.
No,
It's an honor.
that's legit. That's legit right there. So thank you. Okay, so web page automation. And so we have two different ways they're coming into this abandoned cart. The way the process is set up is at a high level, I'm always tracking engagement on every single email I ever send out. And the reason
That's right.
why I track engagement is because I want at a high level to know where people are in their last engagement. It's super valuable for quite a few reasons. So what you're going to see is this is an email box, right? This is really simple, like start, email, delay timer, email. I mean, to set up an email sequence, it's super simple. You basically, it's a start button, and you can have multiple too. So I could drag another start up here if I wanted two different tracks of things to happen. And I can also have SMS in here. I could say, okay, I want to send them a text message. Let's say this is my email track. This could be my SMS track, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I can have running in parallel with the email track. So the delay timer goes here, and then the other thing, if you want to save time on stuff, is I love duplicating things because it's really easy. So you're like, let's just say I want to run these in parallel. Well, I don't need to drag it over. I can just say, okay, let's just duplicate that and bring it here.
Yeah.
And I want to
Cool.
do that, right? But loading in an email is really easy. You just click on the email icon, the little thing, hit view, and then this one already has a template. That's weird. I don't know why that is. Let me just let me delete that really quick. Drag a fresh one over so you can see what it looks like when you first click on. So it's going to ask you for a template, or you can just send a plain text, plain email. Now you can create those templates. So you can have your own template in here.
Mm-hmm.
These are just a bunch of like pre-done ones that they have. The other thing, and when you go to my templates, it's in this section right here. Oh, there is a newsletter template. Cool. So let's just say we want to use this template. I just click on use template and off I go. And I'm ready to edit the email.
Nice.
So again, that's a way to save a lot of time. So maybe you have different types of emails you send. You'd want like 2 or 3 templates based on what those are. So you're not starting from scratch every time. My go-to is plain text emails. I'm not a big fan of images and headers and graphics and all that. I try to make it as personal as possible, but but do what you want here. Especially on an abandoned cart. I don't think this would well, maybe there would be a time for this type of email on abandoned cart, like an image that communicates you forgot to do this. Don't you want it? Anyway, but so any questions on loading an email in? Let
No,
me
so
get
I
a little.
think
Oh,
so,
the
but
only
just
thing.
so I know, so I was gonna say really quick, even the text message, everyone is being entered into this process right here from the initial tag, the checkout initiate, right? So
Yeah.
once it hits this piece, you have inside this layer, right, which is now the email and SMS. Anyone that had SMS and email, they would basically be hit according to this process with whatever you load up, and it all started
Correct.
with that tag. Okay,
Yeah. Or in that case, a page view because we set it up as a page view
Or a
too.
page view. Yes, you're right.
Either
Yeah,
one.
that's right.
And then the cool thing too is it won't do both. So if they have that tag and they're coming through and they hit the page, it won't double up and put them in there twice.
Oh, cool. It'll pick either
So
page view or it'll pick.
it'll
the
do one or
checkout
the other. It
machine.
won't do both. Yeah.
Cool.
Now the other thing that's really cool about it too is merge fields. So merge fields can be added anywhere and for any purpose. And this is really, really powerful. So the simplest one to personalize is first name, right? So you know, so I could go like this and I could just go merge, custom field most common, first name. I could go first name. Did you know there are 5 simple ways to say? So it just adds, it takes like a kind of a blah headline. I shouldn't say blah headline, but it takes a headline and can make it more personal, you know. So it could be like, you know, Sherry, did you know that there are 5 simple ways to stay positive and productive? Feels different than there are 5 simple ways to stay positive and productive. So it's a way to personalize. Now, where it's really cool is there's no limitations on these merge fields. And some different ways you could use that is like literally anything, any piece of data you can populate, which adds a huge layer of personalization as possible. I'll give you an extreme case. Like we would do welcome calls with a new customer. And I would ask the customer, and as I'm talking to the customer, I'm using the internal web form functionality within Infusionsoft. And I have a script of the welcome call in an internal web form, and I'm filling it out as we're talking to people. You know, tell me about your goals. Well, my goal is to, you know, make $1 million in a year. So in the internal web form, I'm putting in to make $1 million in a year as the goal in the merge field. So on my follow-up email, guess what I'm doing? You know, hey, just checking in to see how you're doing on your goal of insert merge field, which adds a huge layer of customization, and every single person's email is different and personal to them. So that's one way of using merge fields, but literally you can do, you know, use anything. You could use their country, you know. Interesting, you know, that in
how much of the data is being populated now through our eye tracker that you can use all of that essentially, the eye tracker?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily use that outward facing. That's more inward facing stuff, and we'll talk about that. This is more like, how can you push your message out and make it more customized in your messaging, your marketing messaging? That's what I was trying to
that
get
makes
at.
sense. I guess what I'm trying to say is then we need to have ways to collect the data, though, essentially. So either through more detailed forms or et cetera, that are updated users' profiles.
Yeah, and it's a journey, right? It's not like you're asking them 80 questions every web form. That would be a mistake. The other thing that you can do too is, based on a UTM, you can fill out a field in a certain way. So Sherry's laughing at me. Are you laughing at my, what am I doing? Do I have boogers? You're muted. We can't hear you. Here. All right. I asked her to unmute, but she's still muted.
Sorry, my computer is going haywire and I can't click. Like I can't even click into my Zoom right now.
Oh, really?
Guys, yeah.
Oh, you're not seeing anything?
No, that's everything just like went crazy on my computer.
What a bummer.
I might have to jump. I don't even know how to click out of it.
Do you want to leave and come back and see if it's better?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, but I can't even find I can't click. I think I might just have to restart my computer.
Oh, what a bummer. That's all right. Well, we'll wait for you.
Keep going.
Okay. Well, it's being recorded too, so you can come back and listen to this part.
Okay.
All right. So let's talk. We're going to talk about UTM variables, and hang on a second. I'm off my train of thought. How was I going to oh, this is really cool.
Populating
check this out.
fields.
Yeah.
Parameters.
So let's just say somebody hits a page, right? And we have, I'm just going to play with this. By the way, this isn't something I've ever done before. So this is a new idea based on our conversation. This is cool. Let's just say they hit a page, right? The other thing we can do too is we can actually populate a custom field automatically. So I can go like this, and I can go set field value. So I can set the field value by saying, okay, I'm going to overwrite this field value. And let's just say it's the field value is whatever, let's say flavor of ice
Country.
cream.
Okay.
You know, flavor of ice cream. I'm just obviously this is, actually, no, it's got to be an existing custom field. Okay. I'm just going to delete it anyway, but let's just pretend that it said flavor of ice cream, right? I could set the field value to, if they hit the chocolate page, I could set this to chocolate. Meaning if they hit that page, we know that they like chocolate ice cream. So in the follow-up, we say, hey, I have a feeling you're a fan of chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Cool.
So the thing is you can set a value to, that's my point, to anything you want based
I was
on
actually
any
thinking
sort of
about
automation.
the blog posts too, right? Like, hey, we saw you recently were reading this blog, whatever.
Yeah, and then you can overwrite the value, meaning you don't have to have 1,000 fields. You could just do the latest blog post that they saw.
Exactly.
And every time they say, hey, notice that you saw, boom.
You read whatever X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Might be.
Yeah. So you could keep overwriting the same value with something. So the point there is you can custom fill a merge field as well. Okay. Cool. So merge fields are super powerful. Anyway, let me delete that. Let me move this back.
For the emails, how do you recommend doing A/B testing?
What I would do there is I would probably, good question. I'll tell you what I normally do. There's probably a better way to do it. But what I usually do is I'll write it one way, and then I'll look at the results, and then let me show you how I do it. I use this is in your thing. I have this thing called a trigger stagger. Okay. So what this does, this is where the engagement comes in, and this is dividing people in two different ways. So the reason engagement is so important to me, or knowing, is when I send out emails, I'm sending to my most engaged people first, automatically. I'm sending out to the lesser engaged next, and the lesser engaged next. And this is all determined by what we call a decision diamond that just says, are they these people, these people, these people, these people, or these people? And the other benefit of this particular campaign is this division right here. I have people divided into 10 segments. And the reason I do that is for two reasons. One, I want to release my emails at a slower cadence. When I have a big list, like 80 or 100,000 people, I don't want 80 or 100,000 emails hitting Gmail at one time, because it automatically goes into the promo tab. So what I do is I slow it down, but the slowdown is also great for testing. So I might have 1, 2, and 3 go out on a Tuesday, look at the results. 4, 5, and 6 go out on a Wednesday, look at the results. And, I could have as many reiterations as I want in the testing process. So this is usually what I use to try different stuff. So I'm basically dripping it out and then dividing it into groups, if that makes sense.
In order to do that, you would click into each one of those and adjust the time delay.
Exactly. It's just, all these are timers. So the only thing those things do are slow. It's just controlling the flow of people through. Now I can also add tags in here. So if I'm using this for split testing, I could have test 1 through 10. And then I could look at my results based on tags. I could then pull up the data based on that tag and do it that way. So,
but where is the segmentation occurring on the list in this one? Like, where do you actually select? Is it, it's right there?
Yeah, the segmentation, I set it up. Yeah, so they already have these segments, because that's an automation that I set up ahead of time. So that when people come into the system, I don't have it set up in your account. We can talk about doing that if you want it to. It's really easy to do. It's just an extra layer of software that I use for that does advanced stuff. But anyway,
I have a random
So-
question.
sure, go for it.
How many emails do you send like on a list till it goes into the promo tab on Gmail? Do you know?
The way to think of it isn't how many, but what happens. And what I mean by that is, as an email hits Google or Yahoo or any of these things, they have really sophisticated tracking and algorithms that they, when you open an email on Gmail, they know how long you're reading it. They know how much you scroll. They know if you're clicking. So all of that data goes into their, machine, and it's trying to determine, is this legit or not? So you can't answer the question by saying how many, because it's potentially, you could send the best email in the world that gets the highest engagement, and you can send 1 million of them and they all hit the inbox because the engagement's so high. Or you could send 20 and they all go to spam because it was like, Viagra, this, that, and the other thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a how many equation. It's a quality equation and a cadence Cadence is part of it, but it's not everything. That's
So
why
it
it's
does
impossible
like,
to answer.
so it just builds your reputation. So it's kind of just like the average of like what all your emails combined is just like.
No, there is email reputation. Email reputation is kind of a pass fail thing, right? Your domain health is kind of pass fail in that you have this overall domain health, right? So if you go to like mxtoolbox.com and you run your domain, you're going to see if you're on any blacklists or, if there's problems with your domain. That's different than the quality of each email. The quality of each email, they're judged individually, not as a group.
Oh, okay.
So your domain does have a reputation. That's a thing. But what I'm talking about is a completely separate thing. So it's also possible that you have this stellar domain reputation and you still go into the promo tab. But if your domain reputation sucks, it doesn't matter what you do on your emails. You could write the best emails, the most clicky, whatever, and it's not going to work, So that's why I say domain reputation is kind of pass fail in a way. You're either healthy or you're not usually. And then each email gets judged individually.
Okay.
And that's why I use this staggering system with engagement and segmentation, because when I use this, my chances of getting in the inbox go way up, especially with my highest qualified people, because my engagement on like the first people that are getting the email are the biggest fans, right? So they're eating the dog food and they're loving it. And Google's like, oh my God, this must be an amazing email. Look at all the engagement. Well, yeah, we sent it to the people who are the most engaged, the biggest fans first. And then by the time it gets to the over 90s, which are our worst prospects anyway, it probably is starting to hit the promo tab because these people are just like not even paying attention. But at that point, we don't care because we've already hit the inbox with all our most important people.
So just a quick clarification, is this applied to campaigns that we will be sending out, or this is not applied yet? We can decide if we want to do it in the future.
You can use it anytime you want. It's sitting here to use.
Gotcha.
So this is just a thing that you put in front of your campaign. It's mainly for big broadcasts that you'd want to use this. You don't want to use this in just your everyday automation because that already has its own cadence that's separated by the fact that people hit it at different times anyway. This is like broadcasting. Like I want to send out 100,000 emails and I want to get really good deliverability. And it matters because, and I'm not trying to sell you on this, because it just matters because if you go to the promo tab versus the inbox, your dollar results are drastically different.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
So
yeah. Now it all makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But we will save this for.
And this is like on the scale of 1 to 10, this is a 10 sophistication. Nobody does this. So if it seems foreign, don't feel bad because nobody does this kind of stuff.
But it makes sense. This makes sense.
Yeah.
Like this it seems like it'd be important.
It is. Yeah, it's a moneymaker when you use it again, but mainly for broadcasts. I wouldn't do it for, just broadcasts. Okay, so here's another situation. Forget about I take that back. Let's just say I'm starting a promo campaign, and it's a big campaign, which isn't a broadcast. you're going to use that if I'm putting a bunch of people into a campaign. I want them to drip into that campaign because that'll increase the health of the entire thing by slowing the cadence down and going with the most engaged first. So the same thing, it doesn't just apply to broadcasts, it applies to full-on campaigns as well.
So going back to my A/B question, for
Yeah.
sequences, how would you do that?
There's a couple different ways. I mean, shoot, you could duplicate the sequence. That wouldn't take that much time. The only, I mean, making a clone is really easy. The part that sucks is you have to go in and just activate all the different pieces. Probably takes maybe 20 or 30 minutes to, if it's a big campaign, it'll probably take 20, 30 minutes to activate it. That would be one way to do it. The other thing you could do too is, yeah, it's a feature it should have. It would be great if it was an automatic feature. Like I used to use Maripost to send emails. It's really expensive, but that was one thing they did really well was A/B test subject lines and whatever else. And then
I know there's a feature in here because I've seen it when I was like looking through here. I just didn't know if it was just for broadcasts or if it was for sequences too.
you thought A/B testing?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just in the, because I was looking around because if we were going to move everything to Infusionsoft, like I would have to send out something, but there was, I think it was in either broadcasts or in campaigns instead of sequences.
All right, so this is broadcast. Broadcast, usually you're just picking a thing.
And it was on the left hand. Yeah, see how it says AB on the left?
Oh, no shit, excuse my French, that's brand new. I've never seen that. Holy crap, that's a new feature. I've never seen it. That's amazing. Let's see if it's in campaigns as well. It's got to be. Oh my God, how exciting. I don't know when they did that, but that is cool. So I take back everything I said.
Okay.
Ignore all that. It was all BS. And this is a better way to do it.
I just didn't see it in campaign when I saw it. So that's why I was like, maybe you know how to do it.
Why wouldn't it be here? That makes no sense to me. The other thing, I wonder if there's a way to set it up as a template with the A/B test. Rather than spending a ton of time on that one question, I think that's probably a thing I can definitely look into.
Okay, cool.
But just the fact that you found that in the broadcast is really cool, means it's got to be there somewhere. Because the other thing, what I was thinking is enable A/B test, do all the tests, and then save it as a template right here. And now on the campaign, just boom, hit the template. So you could basically create all your emails here and then load them in. Because once you've got them, you can just go click and load them into the automation in the campaign builder.
That's cool.
But that's really cool. I'm stoked about that. What does this thing do? Check spam check. Oh, that's just checking to see if the email has issues. That's new too. That didn't exist either. So yay, love it. Okay. Kind of went off the rails a little bit. No. It was there was really good stuff. It was great. I'm just going back to where we were. Do you have any other questions about just basically loading in an email or merge fields or anything as it relates to actually building the email?
No, I went in there. The template that was in there, I created that just to see how easy it was to create a template. But so I know how to do it. So yeah, I'm good on that.
Okay.
But thank you.
Now, timers, the important thing to note on timers is you can't do a delay timer and a date timer in the same sequence. So those operate individually. So I can't.
So you can't say on this day
I'm going to wait 10 minutes and then I'm going to do it on this day. It's one or the other. So the good rule of thumb is if you're doing a date timer, and date timers are great for like events, right? So if I have an event, let's just say I have an event. What I'll do is I'm going to set up my date timers like this. And I'm going to say, 5 days before the event, do this, 3 days before the event, do this. And when you go to set that up, it's literally runs on a specific day at a specific time.
Okay.
And then if you use the contact's time zone, that's usually a really great thing to do, because then you're not hitting people at all hours of the clock.
Yeah.
You're hitting them when you want to hit them in their time zone, which is a great feature. But yeah, so date timers and delay timers do not go on in the same automation. It literally will not work. It won't pass through.
So then if we just to digest this really quick, like at the top line, we're sending out 3 emails separated 1 day apiece.
That is exactly what that's doing right there.
Cool.
And then why do I send 3 emails of the exact, these are all the exact same email with different subject lines. So what I'm doing here is I'm resending unopens. And then
Now, where do you
go into-
define unopened?
right
in
here.
that?
So I go to this thing. People are getting pulled out of this for one of 2 reasons. One is going to be a purchase, right? This is an abandoned cart. Once they buy, we want them out, right? So we set up our purchase condition here and say whatever the product name is. It's got to be a customer tag. On this one, it's, let's say, purchased real estate course. It's funny that came over that tag. So this, if they purchase the product, boom, they're not going to get any more of those emails. So
Gotcha. So that
you,
even though that tag is there after that email
Correct.
sends or whatever, it applies to the thing before.
here's the logic. Ready? The thing that's right here is pulling them out of that thing. So when there's 3 outcomes for this. One outcome is that they don't watch it. They don't open any of these.
Yep.
The other outcome is that they open, and another outcome is that they already bought it and we don't want them to get this.
Okay.
Right? So this is that they already bought it, pull them out.
Yep.
This is that they open the email, pull them out. And this line right here is they didn't do anything. We're going to go to the next thing.
I see.
So those things pull them out of the, out of the campaign.
So these are the sequence of events, and then these are the actions that can happen to that
Exactly.
sequence, and then move it to the next sequence.
Correct.
Sequence actions, et cetera, et cetera.
Correct. Yeah. And then conditional on what, those, and then you can create trees of,
Mhm.
if thens. So this email open, you can see that you can also do clicks, not just opens, but the most common is open. And I usually do any of these have been opened.
I see.
No, it's important to know that any is important because all the emails have been opened.
Yeah.
Is
I
a
mean,
totally
they only
different
have to
deal
one.
than
Yeah.
any. So you want to use any.
Yeah.
And then hit save. This one, there's nothing to do here. All you have to do is just hit save and make it active. Just take it out of draft mode. This will never change, this engagement.
So
tag.
this is what your engagement tags. If we
Correct.
wanted to
That's
use
just-
it in the future.
That's just automatically running the engagement automation. You don't have to do anything with this. This is automatically set up. And then, then you come into
So
the
now
next
you have the
one.
next sequence.
Yeah. So in this situation, the way it's set up right now is it's going to send that first email 3 times until they open
With different subject lines.
with different subject lines,
Cool.
which is,
And
which is
we have several subject lines actually.
which is really good to do because, if your email is a rock star, you're going to get a 20% open rate on the first one.
Mhm.
A lot of times, if you get 20 on the first one, you might get 10 on the second one and probably 5 on the third one. So the results diminish, but you just picked up 15% that you didn't have if you just sent once.
Cool. Okay.
So that's basically that. And then
And going to the really quick. So then again, on the ClickFunnels Zapier integration, we need to add a purchase tag then obviously
no, you
as
don't.
well. Oh, you
No,
don't?
the purchase
Because
is-
that's right.
what you want is when they buy, we want a purchase automation. So the way that works is this. Okay, they bought something, right? Now you're in a unique situation because you're using Kajabi. So that integration already exists. What you
Mhm.
want to do is have product purchase right here. and then put the purchase type, product, and select the product. 6 weeks
Cool.
to start your business. Any
Yep.
purchase option, hit save, and then apply the tag that is customer. Let's see, you edit, apply. Let's see, it's probably not in here, so we'll add it. Purchased 6 weeks to start business and create. Now, I generally keep all these purchase tags in the same campaign
Mhm.
just because they're all the same and they're just doing one thing. And that way it's just easy. And then I always make those customer tags. I'll hit apply and save. So now when that purchase action happens in ClickFunnels, it's automatically gonna flag them as a customer. And then if I
Cool.
come back to my email, the purchase condition that I want them to come out of is the 6 weeks, right? If this is a 6 weeks, if this is a 6 weeks abandoned cart sequence, then I want to pull
Yep.
them out if they're buyers already.
Yep.
And then you have a 6 email sequence. So why this is 7 email sequence with engagement
Yeah.
triggers
Boom,
and
boom.
resends and countdown. So
Yep.
what you do is just go, okay, I need 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we're done, right? So there's extra stuff here. So I just go hit control. I can hold the control key down and just go like that, and then hit delete all. And now it's a 6 email sequence. And then this
We
is
might even want to do, so if you were to do it the other way and select forward and copy, does it just add it to the next step?
Yeah, so if I want to add us, like, let's just say this is a 7, I need 8, then all I have to do is hold down control and then go, boom, 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 and then duplicate, and
Cool.
then I can just do that.
Which we might want to do, right? Because we have to, all those purchase tags, they're all incorrect, except for the first one. But I guess you could just go ahead and select each purchase tag. It's not that hard.
Yeah, and then again, so like this one's, if the tag's set up properly, I'm not going to
So
go
it's
in
ready.
and add that tag every time. An easier way to do it is just say, okay, duplicate,
Okay, cool. That's
duplicate,
what I was.
duplicate, duplicate, duplicate.
Yeah,
It's just a little,
okay, cool.
It's
Cleaner.
It's a
It's
little,
cleaner.
it's less mistakes too, because you do it right once and duplicate.
Exactly. If you do it wrong on
Um,
the third one, you're screwed.
Now, if you screw up the first one, then you really, it's not
Correct.
good.
Correct.
But it's important to know the logic, like Stefan, I'm glad you brought that up, of how do people pull out and like, how do they flow through this is really good to know. So it was a great question, or a good thing to cover. And then you can see that when I duplicated it, lost its connectors. So I just have to go and connect it like I want. And it's all connected. Oh, one more. Now it's connected. One of the things I like about this particular campaign builder process is super visual, like drag and drop. Whereas
Yeah.
a lot of them aren't, they're not quite as pretty.
So for us to be able to get our first sequence up, we basically need to go into this send email, resend unopens, take the same email, paste it in 3 times, different subject lines, make sure that the purchase tag is set up properly and working, and then just do that for the next email, essentially.
Yeah. Now on an
Then
abandoned
so how
cart
do you
email,
so then how do you trigger into a new sequence, I guess? Do you add a tag or something? I guess if say we want to say like they've now, because our abandoned cart is for the book, and so say they buy the book, right? But now we want to start pitching them this new sequence, which is 6 weeks sequence essentially. How does that, I guess we assume we have a separate campaign, or whatever, for 6 weeks.
This is some of the best secret sauce right here. I shouldn't say secret sauce, but this is one of the coolest things, is what you just said. So you see this one that says decision machine? The decision machine controls everything. So what I do is when I put somebody into a campaign, first thing I'm doing is I'm removing the decision machine tag. And then at the end of the campaign, so whether they buy or not, I want to, so in this situation right here, let's just say they go through all this and they don't buy, right? At the end of this, let's just say this isn't an email. This is now the end of the campaign. So we'll delete those. At the end of this, we want to put delay timer because we want to give them a chance to buy, right? So let's just say
Yeah.
we're going to give them 3 days. And at 3 days, we're going to dump them into the decision machine. So what I do is I just apply a tag here. And I go decision machine, start decision machine. Okay, I'll hit save. Whoops, apply. And what that does is that is going to now put them into the decision machine. And what that does is really cool. Every time you create a campaign, you can load it in here. And this is set up to automate the process of going from sequence to sequence to sequence to sequence. And we'll never get the same sequence twice, because the way the logic is already set up is that it's going to ask, have they seen this? Yes or no. If they have, then it's going to automatically go to this one and say, have they seen this? Yes or no. If they haven't, it's going to go to the next one. And there's no limit to how long you can make this. So in that situation, the first one is the abandoned cart. Okay, then we're going to dump them into here, and then they're going to get the next thing that you want them to get, whatever that thing is. You put it in here, and then we just have a rule. Have they seen it or not? Do they have the tag that is, have they seen this? And then the way you set up the automation is once they enter a campaign, you always want to tag them with sent this already, basically.
Mhm.
If they, and then if that's the beginning of all your campaigns, then you can stack all your campaigns in here and they'll never get the same campaign twice. And it's a way to string together sets of automation in a really cool way. Now, from a high level, how do I maximize the ROI from my list? You can see the cadence that I have on here is SOS1 promo. Basically, it's nurture promo, nurture promo, nurture promo.
Yep.
It's how I do it, but you could go promo, 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 promo if you wanted to. You can use this any way you want, but the way I recommend to do it is you nurture in between promotions. And that way they want to get your emails. And they're not like, these guys are beating me over the head with their stuff and I don't want it.
So can you
Unsubscribe.
click in the one of these one more time? So say,
Sure.
so this is, that's
This
a
does
bypass.
nothing. That's a bypass.
Okay, so so at this point did
And
they
this one
receive-
starts the campaign. So this is the trigger. This is going to start a
Ah, okay.
campaign. Do you see how
Gotcha,
it is?
So that's a campaign. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So all this does is start the campaign, and this is a bypass. And it's triggered based on this decision diamond right here of doesn't contain, contains. You know, if it contains the tag that they've already seen it, it's going to go to the bypass.
So it's
if
all
it doesn't
tags,
contain-
pretty much.
It's all tags.
It's all
yeah.
tags. It's all tags.
Yeah.
At the end, the beginning of a campaign, at the end of the campaign, we're adding tags, and then
Yep.
that's basically
At the beginning of every campaign, you put in that, you apply that tag, seen this. At the end of it, you say, go back to the decision machine. And if you just keep doing that, then this will all work.
it makes sense. But then we have to update the decision machine. It's set all these things to be our tags.
Correct. And it's really
Essentially.
easy. I mean, the hard work's done. It's all set up. The logic's already done. You just have to do
Mhm.
those two things. Apply the tag to the campaign that you want to put them in. Leave the other one blank, and then just set up your decision diamond.
Okay.
But this is like the puppet master, right? This is like almost like a puppet
Yeah.
master that controls everything.
100%. Yeah, I can see how this is really useful as you like grow. Is you're constantly like bringing in new leads, and you have a lot of different promos to basically feed those leads.
Yep.
Right.
And this is
It's
really
not like
designing your whole journey.
It's like yeah, exactly. Like we could create a separate one-off for 6 weeks only, but that doesn't make any sense, right? Because 6 weeks is a part of the bigger overall program. We have other things that we can
Yeah.
include. So
I
you should
generally
include 6 weeks
yeah.
into this, and side hustle and all these other different like VIP, right? And that can all be part of the
Yep.
decision tree.
Yep. Yep. And then what's powerful too, now this is getting away from automation, and this is going into psychology, is from a psychology standpoint, my nurture has intention. It's not just nurturing just for good vibes, although we're trying to do good vibes. When I'm nurturing here, I'm attempting to instill the belief that's necessary for them to buy here. So there's intention behind the nurture, meaning this has a purpose and its purpose is to set up this. This one has a purpose. Its purpose is to set up this.
Yep.
So an example is like, let's just say you have a mastermind group that you're selling, something that has connectedness. Well, this content is going to tell stories and you have great content about how important it is to be connected. And then, oh, by the way, the next thing they get is a promo that the big benefit is connection. You see what I mean?
Do you go in and adjust the decision tree with different tags and stuff based off of where you are in your promos and campaigns and whatever? Or are you always, the first day you get a lead, sending the person through a similar process from start to finish?
Well, so here's the reality of that. The reality of that is you could have 5 of these if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Based on different things that happen in the journey. But the reality is most people don't even have this, right?
Yep.
So just having one and having it work to me is more important than getting fancy. Once you have it working and you want to go into like an optimization phase, that's when I would probably add more journeys to it and make it more sophisticated.
Okay.
Most people don't even have this. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
At least
Cool.
9 out of the 10 people that I talk to and work with don't even have this.
So, but to simplify things for us, our decision tree is very simple, right?
Right.
We have 2 sequences, a tag on each, and basically feed them the other sequence. And like, I guess we can add something at the end if they don't do anything, meaning they don't get the book and also don't get the 6 weeks. There should be some sort of thought process there, I guess.
It could even be that at the end of all your stuff, they start going into affiliate offers. Okay, they didn't want to buy my stuff. Let me find some affiliate offers that I can try and monetize.
Okay.
And
Could we also downsell them to side hustle?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then do that sequence? Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do is to represent an offer with a different offer, basically, and position a product. One of the ones I've been doing recently is I sold this $147 small group mentoring. I'd run that, and then I would come back with the same exact product, and I would say, hey, why don't you use my money for this? And I would sell it. I'd do $1. I'd say, why don't you try it for $1, and you only pay if you love it at the end. And I would set it up, the automation, so that they get charged $1, and at the end I would automatically bill them the rest of the cost of the program unless they cancel. And the great thing is my cart value, because I have really great upsells, my dollar transactions was worth an average cart value of $150, which is amazing. So if I pick up, let's say I do 40 grand on the first campaign, that scoop up campaign was worth 20. So I'm getting almost 50% of my revenue on that second bite at the apple on a campaign. So it's really powerful to do that, to come back with a different offer on the same thing, or downsell into something that makes sense. Hey, maybe you're not ready for this, maybe this instead, and it's a lower price.
I wonder, you guys, this is something that we should talk about, sorry for the noise in the background. We should talk about on a different call, but we do the $1 trial for VIP. It would also be cool if we did something like, to Lanny's point, like $1. And if you don't love it, like you do something for like the first week of the program or something. And then to continue, then charge them the rest to get them into the course also would be a great thing to do.
That. I've never tried that, but I think it's genius. I love it.
I think that would also like motivate them to actually start the program too. Like, oh, like I'm going to be charged this soon. Like I should start.
Yeah.
That's why, and it's like lock the rest of it and just do like the first week or whatever for a price. And if they want to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry, I'm definitely ripping that idea off. That's really good. Thanks for that.
Of course.
Because I wait 6 weeks for the money, and you just said you don't have to wait 6 weeks for the money. Why don't you get it in 7 days?
Yeah.
Plus, they're more excited in the 7 days than they are. It's like some of them will be disengaged and burn out, or life happens, whatever. In 6 weeks is different than if you can really. Then you focus your customer experience on those first 7 days and just make it rock star.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I would do too, just to add on, is on day 5 or 6, I would open a loop for something amazing that's going to happen on day 9.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? I would bridge that with, you're not going to believe what's coming, you know?
Yeah, that they, sorry, it's so loud.
That's all right.
That they can't leave after day 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great addition for
Love
our
it. Love
sequence.
it. That's really good. Now, the one thing we haven't talked about yet, we haven't gotten into dashboard stuff.
Yeah.
And then I have, let's see, I have 20 more minutes.
So the
set
one
aside for
also
this.
really quick, I was just thinking about just like the getting everything set up so we can actually execute this. I think loading the emails, we're all set. Adding the tags makes sense, even with the decision tree, etc. I think we're all good, right, guys, on that?
Yeah.
And we can make that happen.
I was thinking that I would load all the emails and you would do the other stuff because I don't
Yeah.
you know how to do that.
Sounds good. And then
And I'm happy to come in behind you and double check everything and
we
say,
probably
you know,
will have that. That would be amazing. And then we need to set up the zaps in order to speak to. So
That's step one.
ClickFunnels does have an integration with Infusionsoft. I saw that. Like, I think
Yep.
I pinged you on that. Like, is it good just to connect those two together, like completely
Yeah.
to the integration? Yeah, because then it should send everything directly.
I use so just rule of thumb. I use the integration on all the purchases. So all of the buyers, that's all connected through the API. I find that it's actually easier just to use the form code on opt-ins and just put in an unstyled form code and then just set it. It's so much easier than you trying to use the API on the opt-ins.
Oh, you mean take it from Zapier, from the unstyled code and zap them over?
What I mean by that is, are you still seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say, let me just add a web form here. It's a web form. Oh, it's not here. It's here, right? Here, sorry. Web form. Here, web form. Okay, so here's a web form, right? And I can, first name, email, whatever. So I want to go to code, go to HTML unstyled, and I want to grab everything up until this JavaScript stuff. I don't want this JavaScript stuff. So where it says /form, that's the end of the form.
Yep.
I just grab that, I copy it, I bring it into ClickFunnels. I'll show you, it's super easy. Let's pull it into it. Whatever, campaign, doesn't matter. It's an opt-in. Edit page, and then I go into this settings integrations right here.
Yep.
I go integrations, and then this is connected and I don't want to break it right now, but all I do is I go null HTML web form, and then I just paste that code right here. That's this code right here, and then hit the parse button, and then it's just first name, email. You just map that, and it's done, and you're good.
I see. And this is not
easier.
connected. This is the page prior to the checkout, essentially.
This is any opt-in you want to do. If I wanted to use the API connection, I could. All I would do is I'd have to go click on API connection, find the right campaign, find the right web form. For me, it takes, maybe for you, it might be easier to do it that way, but for me, this is easier. But it could just be me having bad habits, and I don't know. I try it maybe both ways and see what you like better.
Gotcha. Okay, so we can do this. Actually, this makes sense. This is pretty easy though. You grab the
really
form
easy.
code and drop it in versus the API connection.
Yeah,
but we could do either.
They both work. Yeah, they both
will work. Okay, cool.
I just find this to be quicker and easier. Delete that.
Because I guess really quick, Lanny, the first page that we have is built in WordPress using some other random form. I don't know exactly where the form comes from. I think it's Gravity Forms or something like that. And then the user presumably jumps to our ClickFunnels, basically checkout process. And we still will collect name, email address, etc. on the first part of that 2-part form. And at that point, we basically can send over details using the ClickFunnels integration, right, to Infusionsoft.
Yeah, you could also too set up a Zapier webhook on that first page and get the contact information.
Also, correct, exactly. So that's what I have to do. I should make sure I understood it. So we'll use the Zap for the first page, and then the ClickFunnels integration with Infusionsoft for the 2-step checkout if people don't actually check out on the second.
Then I think if you use the Zap on the first step too, you might be able to push all of your UTM data in from that first page.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we looked into it. We were trying to figure out. I asked them. They said they couldn't do it using the gravity forms, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
You
But-
guys, I have to jump for this other call, but this whole software, Lanny, looks awesome. Like I'm stoked about it.
And
at first
Sherry,
I
we
was
didn't even
like-
get into dashboards. Dashboards is the coolest shit ever. So we should probably set up a separate one for the dashboards because we don't want to do that in 10 minutes, you know?
okay, so maybe the way it works is let us get to work and get our every sequence is set up, and then we can send it to you, and then you can give us feedback, and then we can do dashboards if that works.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Cool.
Totally
This is
cool.
awesome.
Thank you so much, Lanny. Really appreciate it. Great explanations.
The
as always.
dashboards, when you start doing paid media versus social versus different social channels, the way you can divide everything and visualize it is I got goosebumps. It's amazing. Like you really know where your money's coming from. And you
Awesome.
know how fast it comes in too. So you know how
Really
much money
cool.
to spend and in what channels and whether or not you're getting smoked or whether you're winning, you know? So it's really good.
Okay, so then I'll touch base with you on Monday, and we'll find a time next week to do
Okay.
dashboards and follow-ups.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Great to meet you.
Bye,
Hannah.
everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.